All right, I'm letting our guests in. Kick this bad boy off. Ah, look at that.
Mr. Salquist, we meet again.
Hey, good morning, guys. How's it going? Good to see you. All right, I made it to this morning. I had to drop off the boy and rush back to get here.
That's dedication. We love that.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
you know
awesome.
what, Shane? I had a question for you.
Yeah, I got an answer.
This came up the other day. Totally trivial. Your last name is pronounced Sauer, right?
Yeah, like the crowd. Yep.
Okay, that's why. And you know that's why it came up, because the other day we had bratwurst, and for some reason we were at the grocery store and we forgot to pick up the sauerkraut. And I'm like, oh, what's a bratwurst without sauerkraut?
Right.
But then we put on this this special like stone mustard, which is really good. So that kind of made up for not having the sauerkraut on it.
Right.
But I figured, are you a sauerkraut fan, being a sour?
Actually, I am. My wife is not at all.
Oh,
But
really? Okay.
my sons and I are all, just like my dad. Same thing. It's like,
Okay.
we have to.
I mean, when I go to Oktoberfest, I say, load up the sauerkraut for me. I like extra sauerkraut.
Good
Which
man.
also,
That's the gift that keeps giving.
Yeah. And also, have you heard of any Oktoberfest going on? Is there any Oktoberfest festivals going on? I know that Tempe had one usually, and I think that's been canceled.
Yeah,
So,
I haven't heard anyone. I know Goodyear has a good one too.
oh yeah.
And I haven't heard anything about that. I mean, hey, when they canceled the big boy in Munich, maybe everyone just said, you know what? Without the flagship,
right.
What do we do?
All right. Well, I guess I'm gonna have to have my own personal Oktoberfest.
There is one on Facebook right now called Locktoberfest.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, so you just take pictures of yourself drinking at home.
Yeah. All right. Do you know any good polka bands I could hire? Yeah. Well,
It's that time of year, man. Definitely got to figure out what you're going to be doing. Can't have Oktoberfest without a good brat. And
yeah, for sure. I haven't given in yet to have pumpkin spice yet. That's like it's got to be in the 90s before I can have a pumpkin spice to make it feel like fall. It seems a little early.
Right.
Why don't we go ahead and kick this thing off? Thanks everybody for showing up. Welcome to October. Man, where is this year gone? It's crazy. Wake up, it's October already. You guys know me, but for those, there might be one or two folks who popped in who don't. My name is Brewer, branch manager for Finance of America Mortgage, and my cohort in crime over there.
Just a moment.
I feel like I should be wearing some lederhosen right now.
Right.
All this talk, I've got some at home. I should have worn them. Maybe next week I'll bust out the lederhosen and give everybody a treat. Do a little dance around your back behind me. But yeah, for those who don't know me, my name is Shane Sauer. I'm sales manager here at Greystone Title. Thank you all for coming. It's been a real treat. I think, what have we been doing this, Kirk? Like 3 months maybe now, something like that?
I think, we're going on 4, buddy.
Wow. Again, it's funny, this COVID time is, the days have seemed long, but the time seems like it's gone fast. And that makes no sense at all, but it just seems like, just a blink of an eye. It was March and we were already, oh my God, we got to cancel all of our events. And now it's freaking October already. And, I guess we just persevered.
Well, I think some cool things are going to ultimately come out of COVID. You get unexpected things like this come up. Like our Friday morning coffee thing. We just started doing this to, bring everybody together, stay in contact, even though we can't physically meet up. Is also kind of a substitute because we weren't able to hold some classes as often as we like to. So, as far as I can tell, we'll keep doing this well past COVID as long as everybody enjoys it. So let's jump right into rates. That's kind of my little weekly thing as far as consistency goes. Let you guys know where we're sitting there, and we're hanging out. Nothing's really changed rate-wise I'll go ahead and share my screen with you real quick. But we've just been holding steady here. Here's the homepage of our site, loangeeks.com. And there's several ways you can access the rates up here on the main menu, as well as several other places down here. And that'll take you straight to our rate page. Just updated this morning, so these are fresh rates. The 15-year conventional still holding steady right there in the mid two and a half, the mid twos, which I never thought I'd be talking about those rates post housing crisis, but here we are again a decade later. We saw a little bit of a tick down relative to all of the other products on the conventional 30-year fixed. If you guys recall, we kind of bounced up there around 3 1/8, but we just ticked back down this week below 3 again. So we're sitting right at that 2.99, and both those conventionals are sitting at par, meaning no points on those. The 30-year fixed FHA, that's sitting steady at 2.875, and same with the VA. And like I've been talking for weeks now, this is a broken record. Those things are still carrying some premium pricing where they carry 3/4 of a point at that rate. And that's in addition to, for instance, on the FHA, the 1.75% upfront MIP. That is literally discount points to get that rate today. And that's tied into the CARES Act and the forbearance issues, and that these particular products where people have less skin in the game or maybe less qualified in some instances, we're quick to get into forbearance, and they may be not making their mortgage payments right now. And that's causing the servicer pricing to go up. Same deal there. It's been steady. And then to finish off here real quick, we're holding steady on the jumbos. They came back in line after a few weeks, and everything looks good there on the jumbo front too, despite the fact that underwriting requirements are still tighter than they had been pre-COVID. They're not crazy. They're just really, really scrutinizing the jumbo products these days. So that's where we're at on rates. I saw some market info this week related to the housing market, and these were national numbers. They weren't local numbers, but man, nationwide, the housing market's just like on fire. We're on pace. I think Case Shiller was saying right now, year to date, 4.8+%, somewhere in that for appreciation. And across the country, inventories are low. So it's a theme, not just here, but everywhere.
Yeah.
What do you got, Shane?
Yeah, I got some stuff to share, but I real quick, I'm setting up an event with Tina Tambor towards the end of this month, and I actually had her on the phone with me for like an hour the other day. It's like she just kept going, and I'm like, I'm just listening. So, but my big question as I had her on the phone was, what is she predicting for the fourth quarter of this year? I've heard so much talk, and we've discussed it here on the show about foreclosures and short sales and lions and tigers and bears. Oh my, the whole thing. It's and all the requests I've got. I know I've shared somebody contacted me about mortgage rates. I'm like, mortgage rates, just my brain was like fireworks. I'm like, I haven't heard that in freaking 10 years, but. I had her on the phone. I'm like, I got to ask you one question, because this is something that really is near and dear, and everybody keeps talking about it. What are you seeing with foreclosures? And she said that she expects a spike of foreclosures here, but it's going to be a very short-lived spike. It's just going to go up and right back down because of forbearance and the fact that people don't understand it. And they're going to freak out when they get that letter that they've got a balloon payment here, and they're going to lose their minds, and they're just going to walk away. She thinks that's exactly what she thinks. She doesn't think it's going to affect home prices one bit. If it is, it's going to be a little dip and nothing. But she doesn't expect home prices to actually level out in the foreseeable future. So people that are on the fence waiting for home prices to go down and the market to crash, you're going to be waiting a mighty long time. So
Yeah, we've talked about that quite a bit, you and I,
yeah,
both here and offline,
Yeah.
on my end of things. And you know, with my experience back during the housing crisis, being at the bank, you know, our portfolio took a major hit. That's why they're called BMO Harris now, not M&I Bank. They just got crushed. Yeah, we're not seeing it. Yeah, there's people in forbearance, and you may have those people, again, going back to the Govy loans, right? Who maybe don't have a lot of skin in the game.
Yeah.
They're not sitting on really a bunch of equity, and so they may walk away. But I wouldn't even call it a spike personally. We'll see. You know, hindsight will be 2020, right? But I think it'll be a blip. I don't think it's going to be a spike. Those people who are really hard pressed, they can still sell. They can even go to those what do you call offer door, buddy or whatever, you know, those guys.
Yeah.
And they could probably still get out even after those guys did their business with them and took them to the cleaners. They could probably still get out with equity. So if they go to a professional agent who knows what they're doing and can get them top dollar, there's no reason they need to walk away from their house.
No. And Tina was very adamant about not letting the iBuyers in there to those homes. Like she's, really recommending to agents to get your marketing together, get after these people who don't understand what their options really are coming out of forbearance, because every 3 months we're seeing that tick. And here, October 1st, a lot of people came out of forbearance. They either extended it or they came out of it. So I was actually at an event with her because she had an event yesterday, and she sent me the info so I could sneak in and listen because I really wanted to hear what she had to say for her presentation. And I was feverishly writing down some things. I'm going to try to contact her today, but she had a nice slide about, and really you could transfer it into a marketing piece. The problem is with marketing to those people is you don't know who those people are. And there's no real way to find those people. There's nothing recorded. So we can't track it. The servicers aren't going to give that info out. You're almost wanting a blanket maybe on Facebook or somewhere where people can see the message. Maybe I'm trying to, I've been trying to rack my brain for the past couple of days, just thinking about ways to go after this. And social media probably is your best tool in this case, I would think. All of them, Instagrams, the Facebooks, everything you can stick information on for people to read. They need to read it. Otherwise, you could do direct mail and blanket a neighborhood, I suppose, but it's really hit or miss. You just don't know who those people are. They don't have a flag flying in their front yard saying, I'm in forbearance. She said too that so many people, there's a lot of people out there that just stopped making their payments thinking they were in forbearance, and they weren't. They just stopped making payments. It's like, okay, not only are you not in forbearance, but you're way late on your mortgage, and you're going to, things are going to happen here. So it's just an interesting time, but it was really cool to hear her talk about it one-on-one. And we just discussed it for an hour. It was just really interesting. Cromford forecasts so much better than so many other people can. That's all they do is study this stuff. So really neat things. But and she's awesome. Like I said, I got something going with her towards the end of the month. But I'm trying to get some more info from her to help out the folks that are here or any of the agents that I work with. There's a way to capture some of this information or go after this and market it and build a flyer and stick it out. I don't know. Let's figure it out. So we're all kind of in the same boat. This is a revenue stream that, and it's helping people too. It's what it comes down to. So interesting stuff, but I'm way off the reservation with that. But let me come back to where I wanted to talk about first off, and I want to kind of talk about a little bit about the market update and what we're doing here. I'm going to show you a couple different things. This is, of course, our regular market update that comes out. And this is Chandler, because I always pull Chandler. Those of you who've been on know that I do that because I live here. I'm in Chandler right now at my office. But a couple neat things went on last week. I don't know if neat is the right word, but interesting. We lost a little bit of inventory in Chandler last week. We did gain some median list price. And for those that haven't seen this report, let me know. I would be more than happy to start getting this to you on a weekly basis, or any city, any zip code, we can get these things, and there's no cost to get them. But it's really neat. It's very interactive with being online like this. We're going to show you what went on last week. New inventory, what was absorbed in the different price tiers here. But you can pull all this stuff down too. You can look at inventory and see what that's doing. And you can pull it in like the market segments that show on the bottom here too, and everything kind of follows the same because it's all kind of lumped together. But you pull it out by median list price, you can see where that's at with the different price tiers here. So very cool stuff here. Easy, super easy to share if you're looking for social media content. I mean, here's a Facebook button. You can just pop this right on Facebook. You can email it out, put it on LinkedIn or Twitter. A lot of cool stuff there. But I wanted to show you, and I think I have to bring this up independently. So let me do.
Can I ask a question regarding that
Yes,
flyer?
Steve.
When you click on the call me, can you customize that to call me, or does it call you? Okay, I was just curious about that.
Yeah, it calls me, and I actually had that question pop up, and I was, when I put you in as a to start receiving these things, I always have to put your phone number in there. So it's like I always thought the call me button linked up to your phone, but it actually links up to our phone. And I'm like, yeah, I don't want people calling me about this. I want people to call you. Well, I guess the good thing is if they do call, we could talk to them and find out where it came from and direct them right back to you. So that's an option too. So we can capture that, we can grab that information and say, hey, I want to contact Steve about this. And where'd you get the report? Where'd you see it? Whatever.
Okay,
so,
sounds good. Yeah, no big deal. I was just curious.
Yeah, and we would. But I started compiling this too, and I know some of you are getting this. Steve, I know you're getting this little guy. I've been on Mondays. We get the market updates on Mondays, so they come live to me. They go out to the agents on Wednesdays automatically. It just is what kind of way it's set up. But I started taking this information that I was seeing because I was really interested in getting it all on one page, so you could look at it and see it all in one shot instead of having to cycle through some of the things. But I wanted to kind of put these together, and you can kind of see what's going on across the valley. I added some new areas in here, a couple West Valley locations. I added Gold Canyon and AJ2, so kind of the east and the west. But I'm able now that I've been doing this for a few weeks, I'm starting to put some trends down that I'm seeing with these things. Like Mesa's been going down the past 3 weeks now. Paradise Valley's been going up the past, I'm kind of be able to spot these a little bit, and I'll be able to do this now with some of the out of valley areas too, coming on Monday when I've at least been looking at these for like 3 straight weeks, and I can kind of notice what's happening up or down. But very interesting stuff, and I like to get all these all in one shot, so you can kind of compare them and see what's going on and where hotspots are or not in just one glance. So I've got a number of agents now that are subscribing to this thing on, I just send it out on Mondays. This one just blast right out there to you, so you've got it. If you'd like to start getting this thing, just let me know. I'll just add you to the distribution list and start popping it out to you so you can take a look at it. It is different than Cromford. I mean, Cromford is Altos and Cromford are not the same tool. I mean, I think Altos is a little more Cromford light, basically, but it's going to give you the gist of things. And I don't know how many of you subscribe to Cromford. I was surprised when Tina told me that she was like throwing out numbers like 30,000 agents here in the Valley, and about 1,500 of them subscribed to the Cromford report, which was amazing to me. I always thought that ratio was much higher, but a lot of really good information here. So between Cromford and this, I mean, this is a great marketing piece. I think Altos is fantastic for that. So let me know if I can help with that in any way, and then any other marketing we can do. But yeah, it's an interesting time. Kirk, have you seen on your end anything out of the ordinary? Probably no slowdowns at all, right?
No, rates are low. We're turning and burning on the refis. I think from a ratio perspective, refis are way up. But the purchase market's on fire. What's really interesting is inventory's down, but purchases are up. Intuitively you go, well, how can that be? Because there's less homes on the market, but they're like all being consumed. I mean, we're what, like two weeks inventory or something? I mean, it's crazy. Um, and then again on the as far as the defaults and forbearances and all that, we're not seeing any warning signs yet. That doesn't mean they're not going to come, but we're not seeing them yet. So, and we're getting at that time where COVID hit, and those forbearances are going to start kind of hitting maturity. So we should, if something's going to hit, we'll start hearing some rumblings on that. What I would tell you guys from an agent perspective is, I think Shane had a great idea. Maybe, if you're relatively good computer graphics wise, create an infographic or something and just periodically throw it out on your social media, letting people know that if they are in forbearance or they are struggling to make their mortgage payment, they default, and foreclosure is not the best option, and they have other options, and you guys can help them with that for sure, because they should have a ton of equity. Home prices are going up like crazy, so they should have plenty of equity to get out. And the other thing I would say is, if you're farming certain areas, continue to farm them, but maybe get that message out in your normal farm. Just kind of that same message, which is, hey, look, if you are in forbearance right now and you don't know how you're going to be able to get out of it when that big payment comes, you have other options. Foreclosure is not the best option, or shouldn't be the first option. That's for sure.
No, and Tina even talked about, I mean, you could rent your home, you could make just a couple payments and refi that thing, get back on where you can refi that thing and pay that off. She had like a lot of ideas that I was, like I said, I was writing feverishly yesterday when she was talking, and what she said something to me that I didn't even think about. So she was saying that we're having like huge numbers of listings come on the market, but they're going that fast. So they're getting chewed through that quickly. It was amazing. The graphics she had yesterday were just, I'm like, I gotta get some of those because I gotta figure this out, because it was interesting, her take on things. But yeah, just the whole forbearance thing. She drummed that in over and over and over about agents getting in front of these folks. But again, it's like, you got to pick how do you do it? How do you hit the most people? Without knowing who they are, you're just kind of flying blind just a little bit,
Yeah, that's why I think, like, just a general social media, like an infographic, something that's very high level. And then if you already farm, just get that message out to your normal farm, because how else are you going to find them? Just, maybe there's a little nugget in there or two that you might be able to help out. But that's an interesting take on inventory too, which is that there's a lot of listings hitting, but they're immediately being consumed. Yeah. And the question is, are they ever actually hitting active live on the market, or are they in coming soon and then they immediately go pending? So how does that count in the numbers? I never thought about that before, but I've seen plenty of houses in my neighborhood. They never actually went live on MLS. They literally went from coming soon to sold. So I'm not sure how those are treated statistically.
Yeah, I don't either. I talked to an agent yesterday who's taking a listing in Gilbert. She's gonna put it as coming soon. I'm like, yeah, it'll probably be sold before you even. Well, they flip it. You flip it active for 20 minutes and whatever. It's like, and that's the way a lot of them have been. I know. I mean, a lot of them have been sold in the coming soon stage there. So. Yeah.
No, I think they're active like for 20 seconds, as long as it takes to flip it out of coming soon to
just as fast as your fingers will type.
And I forget what the, I'm not an agent. I forget what the designation is as far as we're taking backups or whatever.
Yeah. This is fast as my fingers can work. Is just
exactly
how fast that goes. But yeah, it's a crazy time. But she shed a lot of light on some of this stuff. But like I said, it's just a wealth of information. If you've never been to one of her events, I mean, it really is very it's enlightening to really see. I mean, they're going back to 2005 to bring up, seeing where we're at compared to that, which we're not. But you know, in a lot of ways, but we are in some. So it's kind of funny to see how it's going and comparing the inventory to how many buyers are out there. And she had a lot of different graphs. I'm gonna try to get some stuff from her. I need to get some slides from that woman. She needs to provide.
Yeah, bring them in here and share. Come on.
Because I will. We talked about a lot of things, and I saw these things yesterday. I'm going to contact her today about see if I get some information from what she presented yesterday. See if she'll share this with me. I know I'm not a subscriber, but maybe she'll be generous enough to enlighten us a little bit.
Well, hey, we're getting near the tail end of our normal 30 minutes, and we like to keep it tight when we can. So the question I have is, what other questions do you guys got?
Hey, Kirk.
Open it up for you.
Hey, good morning to all.
Hey, Raj.
Not a question, but a general observation. So every month we get this professional newsletter called Stat, Armless Stat, and it gives really good statistics about Metro Phoenix real estate housing market.
Mm-hmm.
So one thing that really caught my eye for September newsletter is the median sales price, median and average sales price are up substantially beyond what we have seen over in past 4, 5, 6 years. So to give you the exact numbers, the average sales price went up by 17.7% year over year, and the median sales price went up by 16.1% year over year. We are used to seeing 6 to 8% increase. So this 17 and 16% is beyond at least my wildest imagination.
Well, those, Shane's talking about going back to 2005, 6, 7, those kind of numbers as far as appreciation goes, that harkens back to that time where we were seeing some serious double-digit appreciation. They had lotteries. People were sleeping in tents overnight to get in and buy homes, that whole bit. Seeing that, I always used to tell people, we start seeing that lotteries again, you need to run for the hills because trouble's coming. But combined with that, the one thing from the lending perspective is, at my bank, we didn't participate in this particular type of lending practice, but we know it was widespread, and that was all those no income, no asset, the ninja loans and things like that. Fog a mirror and we'll give you a loan. You don't have that occurring. You haven't had that occurring up to this run up. So I don't think there's a huge cause for concern with it, but is it sustainable? Probably not.
I got an email saying that jumbo now is available with just 10% down, which was not the case over past year or so.
Well, definitely not it was up until COVID hit. We had all kinds of jumbo products that were 10% down, no mortgage insurance, all that good stuff. And then that went away immediately with COVID. And then we've seen it creeping back where we could do an 80. We couldn't even do a jumbo there for a couple of weeks. And we could do an 80, 20% down. And yeah, now you're seeing those 10% come back. And that's just because things have stabilized. That's great. Appreciate, Phoenix is always more volatile. The swings up are more drastic and the swings down tend to be more drastic as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I don't see us getting set up for a major swing down, but I see where we could potentially plateau and maybe, see a small correction, but I don't know where it's coming. We need a glut of inventory, I would think.
Tina was pointing out in one of her webinars, she was showing in 2005 how prices were going up and how it was trending up. And she is seeing some similarities in this market. I mean, prices are going up. One of the homes, one of the communities that I keep my eye on, and these are small homes, $240,000 homes. So I saw a price increase of 30,000. So now it was one listing came out at 270. A week later, another listing came out at 300. So within short 2 weeks, price jumped up by 60,000. Of course, that's asking, not sure
Yeah.
if they'll get that. but like you said, it's not sustainable. So we'll see what happens. I hope this is not a bubble.
Well, there's two sides of the equation for a property to go in foreclosure. One is, well, ultimately they can't make their payment, right? That's ultimately what it comes down to. So they go into foreclosure if they don't have equity. If they have equity, then they can sell it and walk away. So that's what we saw back in the day, is so many people got into the homes simultaneously with the housing market crumbling, because all the underpinnings of that market, with the mortgage-backed securities and Wall Street putting all kinds of crap into these tranches, and Standard and Poor's and all of these guys rating them as A when they were worthless. You know, there's a whole lot of other stuff going on that brought that market down. COVID created a spike in unemployment, and something like that could obviously create a push towards more defaults and more foreclosures. But we're seeing improvements on the unemployment front. I don't think those improvements are as good as the numbers are saying, because they're kind of playing a shell game. People who are coming off the unemployment rolls are actually going into this special CARES Act assistance program. So they're coming off the unemployment rolls, but they're still not going back to work. So the unemployment numbers coming down, and they're hiding them over here, kind of off the radar. But yeah, that could cause the market to see a correction, is if people stop making their mortgage payments and they try and sell their home, and now all of a sudden supply outstrips demand. Right now, obviously, it's the other way around. So if we see that flip real quick, we'll have to keep watching it, because yeah, it's not sustainable at 17 to 20% annual appreciation, for sure. But it's you know, we have really low rates. So initially we can take it and consume it simply because people's buying power is greater at these low rates.
Hey, Kirk, speaking about rates, did Fed make any announcements that rate will stay low for next 2 years? Is that true, or that's just a rumor?
It's true and a rumor. It's both. They intimated that it could remain basically at zero for the next couple of years. They said they're willing to take on more than their normal appetite of 2% inflation. And what that means, we don't quite know. Will they take 2.5% or 3%? And by the way, what they use to measure inflation, I think, is flawed from the beginning. They use PCE, and there's other things that I think better measure that. I don't think there's reason to think the Fed's going to be raising their overnight lending rates anytime soon. So I think it's pretty safe to say 2021, we're probably good, and we'll see where we're at this time next year, heading into 2022.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. So I think rates are going to stay here for a while. Even though, by the way, I think we all know, but I'll just reiterate, what it does is not directly tied to what mortgage rates do. But that being said, there's indirect connections. And so I don't see anything necessarily going to drive mortgage rates back up into the high 4s tomorrow, or even, 6 months from now.
Got it.
Yeah. Good stuff. Anybody else got any questions? Anything they've seen they want to share? No? Everybody got their coffee? Ready to start their Friday?
Got it right here.
Awesome. Well, Shane, any final thoughts, my friend?
No, I just, have a great weekend. Keep me posted if we can help, obviously. Kirk too, for that matter. I mean, we work together a lot, so we like to keep it on.
Yeah. I love doing mortgages for folks. If you know somebody who needs one, appreciate you thinking of me.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm here for. Not just for the coffee.
Kirk, I'll send you one of my clients your way.
Yes, please send them my way. We'll take really good care of them. I can assure you of that. Awesome, folks. Well, hey, everybody have a great Friday. Have a good weekend, safe weekend. Yeah, we'll see you guys next week. Have fun.
Thank you.
Cool.